Wherever you are in your life right now, you got there because of the decisions that you made. That should tell you that decision making is really important. In fact, this video is about how decision making basically is productivity. And there's something you can realize that's actually pretty cool. There is literally only one skill, and it's decision making. If you want to gain a skill, what first has to happen? There's a few steps. One, you have to become aware of a problem. There's something that you don't have that you want. That's usually the problem. And so the next thing that you do is you solve the problem. And you're good at this when you have ADHD because your brain is naturally better at creative problem solving. Because your default mode network, which is basically the part of your brain that does that, is on overdrive and it's possessive. But then there's a third part. You have to act. And this is the part that ADHD is bad about, or more consistently acting consistently. And so I want to give you an analogy here. I want to show you 3 warriors. And each of these warriors go about life in a different way. And the connection I want you to make is that productivity is a lot like fighting in a video game. And so you have type number 1, warrior number 1. He is scared. He is overwhelmed. He is maybe cowardly even. This is somebody who has a fear of success or is getting totally beat up by resistance and they're just not fighting back. And this person, what happens is they get into the battlefield, they run. He goes back to sleep, he goes on and watches YouTube shorts to kind of cope. He just does something, anything to get out of doing the work. This is honestly where most of you probably are. How to deal with this is a separate video, but we'll kind of touch on it here. Now, warrior number 2, he's intense and he's driven. And he may even be afraid. The way you can think about both of these guys is they both have the same thing. They have fear going on. This guy may be afraid or he may be genuinely excited. But either way, it manifests as him being the type of person who wants to jump the gun. He wants to get things started. He wants to rush in blindly. Some of you are this guy. Some of you are both of these guys. And what will typically happen to this guy is he'll run to the front lines and then just get slaughtered. Because he didn't make a plan. He didn't think his options through. He might have gone up against an opponent that he really couldn't face. And so what is the answer? What is the good warrior here? The good warrior is a strategist. He's the one who has the ability to become a commander in the future. And the reason, the thing that sets him apart from these two guys is he might still have fear and he might still have excitement, but he knows when to fall back. He knows when to fall back and he knows when to attack. Where if he feels this way, he won't let it stop him from attacking. And if he feels this way, he won't let it stop him from retreating. And really, what he does differently that kind of bridges the gap between these two things is he takes a moment to use strategy. And what strategy really is it's creative problem solving, which we already talked about, but really it's decision making. It's the ability to pick a path quickly, to analyze in your head quickly and then immediately pick a path and lock it in. Because when you have ADHD, your temporal context, your frame of time is not very big. This is part of why consistency is a problem. We'll literally just forget that we're supposed to be doing something. So this guy knows that, and that's part of his strategy is he says, okay, I'm going to pick an action. I'm going to start taking action steps. And those action steps, before I even do anything to work on the thing, I'm going to work on the thing for the thing. I'm going to work on the system that's going to make me consistent. Instead of rushing in to the work, I'm going to create a document where I log the work. And I'm going to have rewards tied to getting the work done. And instead of being afraid of the work and tripping out and tweaking and I have to work, it's I'm just going to do this because guess what? This part is literally fun. It's literally fun. It's like the ideation stage. You have to take action to make sure that the ideation actually starts to manifest into some sort of organizational structure that you're going to engage with consistently. And honestly, it might stop working. You might stop interacting with it. If that's the case, you got to wake this guy up again and then get him to solve this problem. He's the creative problem solver, the strategist. He thinks and he acts, and they're not separate. And then guess what? When you're in this ideation stage, what happens is you get hits of dopamine, which makes it easier to do. And it also increases your momentum. Then you get up to a higher momentum, and then it's oh yes, let's go. Then you don't have to try so hard, so then you don't even have the fear that you started with in the first place. So you skip type 1 warrior because you got momentum, and momentum makes it easy and not scary. There are so many choices in life, internal and external. So what you need to be thinking about is attack the bottleneck ruthlessly. The way I want you to think about this is if you're in a war, it's you might have multiple fronts. Well, you can't spend all of your energy on every single front, like sending all your troops to all of them. They're just going to die. What you need to do is you need to find a way to hold off some of the fronts just for long enough and then be able to have enough focus to destroy one of them. And then you need to pick, what am I going to do from there? Productivity really is a strategy game. That's what it is. What's the needle mover? What is the bottleneck? What is slowing me down? Should I be pushing forward or fortifying the stronghold where I'm at through the use of creating accessibility systems or buying some things that are going to make my life more convenient instead of spending energy and money trying to move forward? Do you get too comfortable doing that, and do you actually need to move forward? Like, these are just things you got to figure out about yourself, and you got to make these decisions. And the way you make the decisions is with the check-in. That's how you do it in the moment. That's like the athlete version, is like you stop, you become aware of your internal thoughts. What this does is it wakes up your ACC, which is the alarm bell in your brain for the CEO, and the CEO is the strategist. This is literally what he's good at. He's good at picking things. He picks one thing and says, we're not doing anything else because we only have so many resources. This is the thing we're doing it. This is the part of your brain that's good at it. So you need to become more aware, and you need to do this mental check-in because that is what wakes up the CEO. But that's just in the moment. That's like you're in the middle of the fight. If you're out of the fight, if you're not currently actively fighting, what you can do is invest in the future with a strategy session. Even better if this is tied to your self-eval. If you have a self-evaluation system in some way, maybe you review your self-evaluation at this time. But really what this looks like is you identify problems, you pick which one you're going to try and solve, and then you focus on that problem and solving that problem until it is actually solved. And this might take multiple iterations. This might take a devlog. This might take an experimental mindset. Solving any problem is a process. There's very few times in life where you go to solve a problem and you can just do it like that, like automatically. There's oftentimes things don't go how you intended them to go, and you have to try and solve the problem again, or you have to solve a sub-problem of that problem. But once you do this chain enough times for one problem, the problem is done. And if it's not a problem anymore, you can move forward. A big part of this is your heart. Decisions are basically automated by your heart and your mindsets. And these things are integrally, deeply tied together. But whatever mindset you have, that has become automatic, that is going to automate your decision making for you. And so you want to become a strategist. That is the mindset that you want to have, is I'm a strategist. I'm not just going to rush into things, but I'm also not going to dilly-dally and putz around. I want immediate action, even if the immediate action is just figuring out what action I'm going to take. And then the moment I have something picked and figured out, I want to immediately take action on it. But guess what? To be in this mindset, you have to be calm. And this is pretty hard because when you're doing things to fix your life, to improve your life, it's difficult to be calm because it feels emotionally exciting. There's a temptation to feel cool. And sometimes even when you're calm, there is this lack of humility. I call it like the foolish sage. This is the person who's like, oh, so spiritual. Oh, they have their stuff together. Oh, they're so chill. They're so beyond and above everybody else. And they may not think that, but that's how they look. And if you're this guy, you're gonna have the same problems. So you really got to get to a point where you're not interrupted by pride, so you can make these clear decisions. Because what happens when you get prideful is you get excited, and when you get excited, this is like the second warrior. Like then you will just wind up doing some crazy stuff to try and like validate your own identity, which can be good sometimes, but glory is silent. It's oftentimes very boring. Like literally the road to success is paved with innumerable failures, and those innumerable failures and figuring out and solving the problems, guess what? It's a bunch of work, and it's extremely boring. Like there's nothing crazy going on. There's nobody cheering you on. It's boring as hell. But if you have that mindset and you are okay with it being boring, and you have ADHD, you got to do some things sometimes to make it a little more stimulating. That's fine. There may be a time to be like emotionally stimulated while you're working or solving a problem. Maybe you're understimulated and you're like flying through and having like an ideation pacing strategy session, and you're like really happy with what the results, and you like jot them down and it's really good. That could be the case. But really this is a war of peace and clarity. And peace brings clarity, so you need to be optimizing for peace and stability so that you can have this clarity. So that way, when your ADHD does kick up, when you do get hyperactive and in the zone and ready to fight, when you do become the type 2 warrior, you have the space, the arena that was built by your strategist, so that when that happens, you can go absolutely nuts and have fun with it. And remember, nobody's cheering, it's just you. Actually, I'll say this, I'm cheering for you. I believe in you. Go get him, Tiger. But yeah, you need to cut out the pride in order to make the right decisions. I'm out of time, but I want to give you one last thing, and it's just something for you to ruminate on. Picking the right decision hurts. It's oftentimes the most painful decision that is the right decision. And this is the barrier that God put in place from normal people and exceptional people. So if you want to be exceptional, you need to make these hard choices. And this is where resistance is. Resistance wants to stop you from evolving. It wants to stop you from changing, because resistance is the current version of you that doesn't want to die. And if you do the thing that's going to evolve you, that's really going to change you, that current version will die, and it's trying to protect itself. But resistance has stolen everything from you, so don't let it get away with it. All right, that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. That is the most important stat. Go ahead and like, subscribe if you want more content like this, and to help this get pushed to more people. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Peace out.